This is all Ukraine. Now, massive changes that at first, I knew about this last night, but I just rested yesterday trying to take all of this information in. But I can tell you it is official now. Malyuk, very famous as the head of security services there in Ukraine, has now been now been well, he resigned, okay, but he's not left. He is now going to be completely in command of Alpha, the A group, this legendary unit. The replacement for him is Kamara. So of course, emotionally, this is difficult for Ukrainians. Why this is a little challenging for Ukrainians to digest is this is Malyuk's resume. Operation Spiderweb, 3 unique attacks on the Crimean Bridge, the invention of unique Sea Baby maritime combat drones, and he was responsible when it comes down to it for the end of Russian dominance in the Black Sea. He, and of course, the team, but it's his command. The first to ever hit on a Russian submarine in the port of Novorossiysk with a sub-Sea Baby underwater drone. The elimination of war criminals and traitors, systematic disruption of the occupiers' oil refining industry by SBU deep strikes. 128 enemy agent networks were exposed under Malyuk, which included 563 individuals brought to justice. The SBU has become one of the most important components of the defense forces on the battlefield. SBU fighters, together with other defenders, liberated Kyiv, Zhytomyr, Kharkiv, Kherson, Snake Island, and actively participated in the Kursk operation. Now you understand why it's a struggle. But guys, he's not going away. He will be commanding the A unit. And I'll tell you what, that picture on the left there with Malyuk and his dog, I think I would want him to be my commander. What a legend. Salute to him for his service, and it will continue. And we'll see how Kamara unfolds. Now, ladies and gentlemen, look who is back. Do you see Zelensky there having a chat? Who is he chatting with? He's chatting with Dmitry Kuleba, the former foreign minister of Ukraine. It looks right now, as of 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Ukraine, that they're coming to some type of agreement that Kuleba will return to the administration of Zelensky. Right now, we're hearing no confirmations that he'll be in some type of foreign services, very important position. Just going to leave it at that right now because I do not have the absolute fact, but security services, foreign specialties, you name it. So time will tell. Keep your eye on that. We're talking massive shakeups happening because Zelensky said even last night, we want peace, but we have to prepare to defend. We're in a war. So, and it's looking like 2026, more of the same. And, you know, I can tell you last night, Russia put over 10 Tupolovs in the air, 6 MiGs. There was a massive strike in Chernihiv on infrastructure, and there's also been a big strike this morning in Dnipro on an oil facility. but Russia faked a massive strike last night, and Ukraine was prepared for it. But they do this quite often. Put a lot of these bombers and strike uh, aircraft in the air and then run fake sorties. It's to keep Ukraine off balance. It's to wear them out. The national air alarms have to go off. People have to get up and go to the bunkers. You name it. That's what we experienced last night. But it's coming. It's absolutely coming. Remind you that even though today Donald Trump denied, or last night, that no, there was no strike on Putin's house, just something close for Russia, they believe it was a strike on Putin's house, or that's their story, so that they can respond. And we're waiting for that. It's coming. Now, two things you need to know as we go forward into this new year. Ladies and gentlemen, the end of the polling in December of 2025. As we turn the calendar into the new year, do not believe the propaganda. 59%. This is graphic one. What is your support level and trust level of President Zelensky? 59% support President Volodymyr Zelensky. He's making lots of very important, massive changes. And look through these troubling months. 58, 59, 60, 59. It's right there. Compare that to your own nation. What support does your president have? And most likely your nation is not involved in a war. I know my nation is involved in madness, and he does not have 59% Donald J. Trump support. Absolutely not even close. So there you go on Zelensky. And the final one, and this is the most important one. I translated this one for you. Chart 2, graphic 2. Imagine that a ceasefire really takes place and Ukraine receives reliable security guarantees, more weapons, peacekeepers from a European country. Should Ukraine then hold national elections after that? 23%, yes, it would be worth it. 10%, I believe that elections should be held now, even before the ceasefire. So 10%, that's it. Not 91% like Donald Trump said. 10%. What do 59% believe? No. Elections should be held after a final peace agreement and a complete end to the war. 59%. Remember that number? The same number that supports President Vladimir Zelensky. So on this Monday morning, Monday early evening in Ukraine, this is where we're at. This is the facts only. 100% on Ukraine. I will be coming back with an update on this debacle that is coming out of the United States right now. Europe not happy with the statements on Greenland, and we'll get to that. But I want my Ukraine update to be completely Ukraine. As a reminder, guys, let's finish Project Tatiana, Campaign 22. Let's do it this week. We are getting closer. We're now up to 4,249 donations. 266,000 pounds of the 320 goal, 54,000 to go. I think all together can get that accomplished very quickly with a little bit of tightening our belts and helping finish this job. Thank you guys. You have a blessed day, and we'll be back working on the next one right now. Be blessed.
Like, like our sovereignty is completely gone, right? And probably not just the AFD supporters. A lot of other people in the country probably think the same, you know. And then the whole question comes along, like, why should a German die fighting on a frontier which is not theirs? For example, I mean, what did the French have? The French still have some far out, you know, island somewhere. You know, why should a German die protecting that? Then you get those kind of arguments. And I really sadly feel that Europeans aren't as far yet to really all agree that this is the best solution.
And it all comes down to cultural identity, right? If you felt European, right, as I feel French, and I would defend every inch of my territory. I'm sure most French people would say that I'd defend any inch of France. But if you say I feel European and I would defend any inch of any centimeter of European territory, then there's literally no difference except the scale and what level of identity you feel. If you feel European, if you feel more European, you'll defend Europe because you're a European living in a European country.
I love it. You feel European. I feel European.
Yeah.
Nobody in the audience watching feels European. But
nobody else.
go local first. Europe is a far out concept. Don't really embrace, you know, because it's not really part of their lives. And I don't know. And this is also part of why the channel is set up, to try and spread that. But
yeah, it's tough. I'm not sure how to change that, to be honest. I know Macron up in Paris, he's put some European flags all over the city. Makes me feel very European, but I think it's more than that. I think it's down to national education, but values, it's a mix of things. And it's an impossible question that I think a lot of pro-European parties are asking themselves. How do we make people feel European? I don't know.
yeah. Anyway, let's cycle back to the start on and the question of the video. Paul, Maduro, right? Gone, away from Venezuela. Is it a yay for the EU or a nay? Basically, in other words, is it good for the EU or is it bad for the EU?
I think the way it was done, the way that Trump has reacted, the operation, how it went down, and the greater geopolitical context, I think taking that into account, it's a solid no. This was not good for the EU at all. However, I'm very happy Maduro's gone. I hope he goes to jail for the rest of his life. I hope he never sees the light of day again.
Right.
How about you, Lamberti?
I'm going to take a slightly more optimistic tone. Again, the and things like that. What it means for the world order, not good. But it could have a slight light at the tunnel for our conflict in Ukraine, because I do feel that this is not positive for Russia. It's not. Maduro was an ally of Russia. Right? But I mean, again, we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. So maybe he's now allying himself with the new vice president coming in. Who knows, right? But that's the first thing. I think it's not good for Russia, especially if the oil production does go up. And what I read, it takes 1 to 2 years. The prices will go lower, and maybe that will really impact Russia's economy enough so things that change. So yeah, do I think, was it worth it? No, hell no. I prefer it not happening, but I think there could be some positives that come out of it in the long run. But for the Venezuelan people, I'm as positive as you actually on that one, because I really feel that the Venezuelan people nothing's changed yet. It's the vice president taking over, and the whole regime is still in place. This is not regime change. It's just one leader gone.
Yeah, you're right. One awful leader gone, but again, yeah, for the people, what will it change? More Chavista regime is not going to be good for them.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, and that brings me to a small point I had thought about. I don't see discussed much, but I find it. I am no conspiracy theorist, but I find it awfully coincidental that the call with China with Trump, the Russian visits, Trump and Putin have talked to each other quite a lot. The way that the vice president was in Moscow when everything went down, and how she went back and now is in control seemingly of the country. It seems all very coordinated in an uncomfortable manner, where maybe this was the plan from day one. Just get this VP in, get the oil in, negotiate with China and Russia, and everyone's cool, and America gets the oil production. Again, there's not much evidence. There's not that much of evidence pointing directly to it. It's circumstantial. But if that were ever proved to be the case, or something similar to that happened, that would reinforce some of the points we talked about during this live stream.
Interesting. So just to the community and the crowd, if there's any questions, I know there's been quite a lot, but tag us or give us a super chat. Obviously, we'll definitely answer those questions. But for the last couple of minutes, just tag us. Let us know if you want to know anything. While we're waiting for those, if you do want to support us further, do check out our Patreon. The link is in the description or in any of our videos. We would really appreciate it. And also, we're thinking of maybe cutting these live streams up into shorter videos as shorts. We're also looking at making more shorts in the future. If that's something here for the watchers here that you want to help with, let us know, because we'd love to see some of your ideas. All right, let's see if there's any questions. So Master Bo mentioned, how is USA doing for national security? What's the official national threat they can't handle through NATO? Paul, do you understand that question? I'm not sure what Master Bo is getting at.
Maybe he's asking, I can't see the question on my screen, but maybe he's asking, are there any national threats that America can't handle with NATO? Is that maybe what
can't handle without NATO? That would be a good question.
Can't handle without NATO.
So basically, maybe we can interpret the question is, does the US need NATO?
I'm thinking soft power, yes. It's always useful. I mean, we always followed the Americans no matter what they did, but I'm